Hello there. Welcome to Just the Discs. We talk about Blu-rays here, and this is going to probably be a short video, but I know folks enjoy these kind of haul videos, and I was particularly lucky this year. I got a lot of Blu-rays and gift cards, and so I thought I would just go through my holiday haul with y'all to let you know what I picked up, if any of this stuff might be of interest to you. I haven't watched a lot of these yet because a lot of them have just come in at the time of this recording, but I will start with the Vestron Silent Night Deadly Night collection. This is Silent Night Deadly Night 3, Silent Night Deadly Night 4 Initiation, and Silent Night Deadly Night 5, the Toy Maker. I've seen 3, but I don't think I've seen 4 and 5, and I've heard that 5 in particular is a real banger from both my friend Elric Kane and my friend Josh Miller. And definitely check out our Double Santa's Christmas Carnage episode of Pure Cinema, where we talked to Josh Miller and Joe Begas about their Killer Santa movies, or their respective Santa movies. They aren't both Killer Santa movies per se. Anyway, point is this movie came up during that discussion, so I was like, oh, what a perfect time for this Blu-ray to come out. Yeah, it's a triple feature from Vestron, Mickey Rooney in the Toy Maker. I see Clint Howard. And we've got some nice features here. Commentaries on all 3 movies, and more. Yeah, as usual, this is a really nice special edition from Vestron. I continue to enjoy their releases. Next up, we have Dream with the Fishes. This is a film by Finn Taylor, I want to say. Yes. And it is long wanted on Blu-ray and finally just became available towards the end of December. It is a movie about a rather uptight gentleman who is about to end his own life by jumping off a bridge, who is found, and that guy's played by David Arquette, who then he's found by a sort of offbeat gentleman, played by Brad Hunt, and he basically says, "Wait, don't kill yourself." And they sort of get into this exchange where he talks about giving him the money, from his life insurance, and they sort of strike up this bargain of like him doing some stuff with. He ends up sort of showing David Arquette a reason to live, sort of, but it's not a sappy movie in that sense. It's very interesting and very 90s indie, and has a great 90s indie soundtrack, and really solid movie, and one that has not been available streaming that I know of. So this is nice to get this on Blu-ray. The DVD was out of print for a long time, so I was really psyched and ordered the week I could with a gift card. This movie, let's see, I'll put those together like that. Okay. Let's do it like this. A bunch of Scream Factories I had to get. The Fog 4K. Just one of my favorite Carpenter films, really. Up there for me. Jamie Lee Curtis and the great Tom Atkins and Hal Holbrook. All about a haunted little town. Antonio Bay, of course, who has their DJ, played wonderfully, Stevie Wayne, played wonderfully by the great Adrienne Barbeau. And, of course, John Houseman and Janet Leigh. Just a great, creepy, atmospheric, ghosty movie about a seaside village. And there's something about seaside villages, and I've always wanted to actually visit the filming locations on this one. This is the kind of movie where I love it so much I want to go out to the lighthouse, or I want to, in some ways experience it beyond what I have. Anyway, 4K restoration by Studio Canal. Now, I had this Blu-ray from Studio Canal, so the 4K. And so I almost didn't get this, but then when I had a gift card, I was like, oh, I do like the Scream Factory stuff, and there's a lot of extra features here and the second Blu-ray. So I ended up caving, but I had to get the Fog. And then, of course, I had to get Black Christmas as well. Bob Clark's seminal Christmas horror film from 1974. One of the early slasher films, a real landmark and a real classic. This is a 3-disc, including the new 2022 4K scan of the original camera negative, which, is on both the 4K UHD and the Blu-ray, and the special features Blu-ray is also included here. So really, this would have been part of my, likely will be part of my favorites of 2022, but I had just gotten it when I made that last video episode. So I didn't include it, but I would have, I think, just based on how much stuff is on here, and it's a new transfer, and this is really a classic. I think it's really gotten to that point where people understand it to be the classic that it is, but in case there's some folks out there that don't understand just how big a deal this movie is, watch it again on 4K. Watch it with a crowd if you can. That'll definitely translate it for you. And then lastly, on the Scream Factory 4Ks, I had to get Joe Dante's Piranha. I have purchased this film in VHS, DVD, let's see here, Blu-ray, Steelbook Blu-ray, and now 4K Ultra HD. It's one of my favorite Joe Dante films. It's one of the great Animal Attack films, one of the great Jaws knockoffs. It's truly fantastic. And this one, I believe, also has a new 22 restoration of the 4K scan of the original camera negative. And it has the Blu-ray with all the commentaries and stuff like that. So you have your original commentary with Joe Dante and John Davison, which is great. I absolutely love the Joe Dante commentaries, but that's actually one of my favorites. But yeah, absolutely had to pick up Piranha. It was a must get for me. A lot of good 4Ks from the folks at Scream Factory. Moving on to do those last. I got a few more 4Ks actually. But first, actually, let me do this. This sort of continuity. We have another Shout Factory title. This is Cool World, Ralph Bakshi's film Cool World, with Kim Basinger, Gabriel Byrne, and Brad Pitt. This one from 1992, a very adult animated film, but it was one of those that didn't do so well at the time. It's PG-13, so it's obviously not that racy, but definitely not for kids per se. I do remember liking this movie, but not loving it at the time it came out. And this is a new 4K scan of the original camera negative, approved by Ralph Bakshi. And there's The Wild Minds of Cool World, a retrospective look at the making of the film, with brand new interviews with Bakshi, star Kim Basinger, and producer Frank Mancuso Jr. So that's cool. I'm excited for that. But this is one of those Shout Select titles that slipped by me during the year. And I was like, oh, no, I got to get this. Animation in 4K, 4K restoration, but on Blu-ray is definitely up my alley. But yeah, an interesting movie that I cannot wait to revisit, and definitely will do so soon. But for those that missed this even coming out, which I almost did. Okay, back to the 4Ks. We have Casablanca. Now, this was on sale for like $16.99. So keep an eye on Amazon. It may go back on sale, but I'd heard good things about it. Obviously, a classic film that I very much enjoy and was excited to get in a 4K version. As I said, I've heard it looks great. I've had this movie in many versions. You can see the features here, 2 commentaries, Roger Ebert and film historian Rudy Belmer. That's a really great track. I'm sorry, that's the 2 separate commentaries, but both are great. And then you get a Blu-ray with this and a bunch of those features there as well. Now, I'm not sure if I bought this one in like one of those big box set things. I think I only might have done that for Wizard of Oz, maybe. But anyway, a classic movie, one that I've seen many times and continue to enjoy and see its merit as one of the great films. And then another one just came out on 4K, Adaptation. Spike Jonze's directorial shot at Charlie Kaufman's amazing, self-reflexive, weird script with Nicolas Cage playing dual roles as himself, as sort of a Charlie Kaufman, and his brother working on a script of The Orchid Thief, which is a book by the character that Susan Orlean, that Meryl Streep plays. And it's one of those things where he is having so much trouble with the adaptation of that book, which is true. It's sort of based on what was happening to Charlie Kaufman when he was trying to adapt this book. Susan Orlean, obviously a real author. Her Orchid Thief is a real book, but he couldn't do it, and he ended up adapting the script into the script, and it becomes its own crazy thing, and it becomes a movie that gets kind of nuts by the end. It's really, truly spectacular on a lot of levels. Meta levels off the charts. Great Nicolas Cage, great Meryl Streep, great Chris Cooper as well. Very excited to check this one out in 4K. Never had a bunch of features, only this behind the scenes. I think even in the most recent Shout Select version, which unfortunately I just feel like I picked up, within the last 6 months or something. Now this comes out, but I had to get this again with a gift card. I was like, yeah, better get Adaptation. That's worthwhile. And then I got a couple that were recommendations from the Unsung Horrors podcast with Lance and Erica. Just a couple that they do a couple really great shows. I mean, I enjoy all their episodes, but some of the specific thematics they approach are things like they do a Blu-ray wish list episode every once in a while. I think one of these picks is from that. One of these is a DVD. And then they'll do sort of first-time watches along the lines of what we do on Pure Cinema. But I do recommend the podcast. It's a very enjoyable show. The first one was this... It's called Red Rings of Fear, a.k.a. Enigma Rosso, with Fabio Testi. A giallo, sort of sleazy, schoolgirls in peril. I don't know. I just remember I had earmarked it as something I should check out. This is a brand new scan from the original negatives, and I like giallo, but I'm always kind of iffy, and I really need a high recommendation before I dive in, because I've seen a lot, and it's maybe not my genre. I think I've mentioned on the channel before, but this one intrigued me enough, certainly, that when I saw it was available, and I put it in my Amazon wish list a long time ago, I was like, oh, this is something I should get. I should get a new movie that I haven't seen that I can check out in 2023, maybe be a discovery for me. So this was one of Lance's picks, I believe, from maybe a first-time watches episode from last year or something. So that's Enigma Rosso, a.k.a. Red Rings of Fear. And then one of Erica's picks was not Judex, which I have on Blu-ray, but this particular Eureka DVD, which is out of print, has this other movie by Georges Franju. These are both Franju films. And it's called Nuit Rouge or Shadow Man, I believe, a.k.a. Shadow Man. And she really talked it up on the podcast in such a way that I was like, I really need to see Shadow Man. And so this is, of course, DVD only, but and it's region 2, but that's not a problem. But I love the idea of this second Franju film, and it says conjures a pulp atmosphere out of a series of outrageous events and pushes it into the vertiginous levels. Here the object of pursuit is the fabled treasure of the mythical order of the Knights of Templar, which the filmmakers use as the jump-off point for staging a series of fantastic set pieces. As the Phantom-esque arch-criminal, known only as the Man Without a Face, played by Jacques Champrou himself, violently pursues the treasure, the action intensifies amongst a cadre of post-68 bohemians, the Paris Police Bureau, and a cult of cowled conspirators. This was a used copy. As I said, this one's out of print. I just got it on Amazon. It wasn't that expensive. It was like $10 or $15, but mostly got it for Nuit Rouge, because I said I do have Judex on Criterion Blu-ray. But regardless, it's a nice bonus feature here, and one, again, I hope to have as a discovery in 2023. Anyway, so that is it for my haul for the holidays. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for listening, and I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.